Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalam ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. So yesterday, Ridvan, the ex-Muslim atheist who calls himself Apostate prophet, he reacted to one of my videos. So today I wanted to respond and make some clarifications regarding what I was saying in that video, and hopefully it can be a learning moment and beneficial for all of us, inshallah. Firstly, I should give a bit of a background regarding who Ridvan is to those of you who may never have heard of him. He is somebody who basically his life is dedicated to defaming, disrespecting, slandering Islam and Muslims. That's what he does for a living. Fareed Responds already has a playlist of over 50 videos where he is debunking Ridvan and the stuff that he says. However, the fact that he has 271,000 subscribers, he has quite an audience, so a lot of them, they came over to my channel, they left comments, and that being the case, since we have other people who don't normally watch my videos now watching, I wanted to take this opportunity to share some information. So the video that Ridvan reacted to is titled, "Some People Choose Evil, Don't Be Fooled." And unfortunately, Ridvan, right off the bat, he misrepresents what I'm saying. This gives Ridvan an opportunity to basically just go on in this video talking about, no, he genuinely disbelieves in Islam. He doesn't secretly think that it's true. And this is an opportunity for his viewers and people to come over to my comments saying, no, we really don't believe in it. And it's like, subhanAllah. Yeah, I said clearly in my video, some people choose evil. Some people make this decision consciously. Who? Who am I referring to? I'm referring to people who admit this themselves. I told an example from my own life where there was this young woman who she herself admitted this. Her and some of her friends followed a religion called Wicca. This is a religion of pagan witchcraft. When I was searching for truth before Islam, I remember actually going with them to this nightclub in Baltimore. And this nightclub was basically for the goth subculture, which is fascinated with and inspired by dark, evil stereotypes of vampires, mythology, witchcraft, and paganism. Ridvan, how is it that you completely cut out the fact that I said she was Wiccan, yet you question my honesty?
I don't want to claim that Sajid is a liar. I don't want to accuse you of lying here, but I really...
This is something I've experienced. This is something that several of my friends have personally experienced, okay? Ridvan, if you say that no, you don't secretly believe Islam is true, I'm going to take your word for it. Just like I'm going to take the word for it of somebody who comes to me and says, I believe that Islam is true. However, due to my desires, I don't want to become Muslim. I don't want to accept the truth. And if that means that I go to the hellfire, then I'll go to the hellfire. If they tell me that, then I'll take what they say at face value. I'll take their word for it. Anyways, before moving on, let's look at some actual clips from Ridvan's video. So right away, we can look at the thumbnail, and he has a picture of me, and it says, "You choose evil," and then he's saying, "Really?" As if I'm talking to him. And the title of the video is "Muslim Claims Disbelievers Choose Evil."
In this video, Sajid asserts that many people in the world knowingly reject Islam. They know that Islam is true, but they reject it willingly. That those who do not believe very often do see that Islam is the truth, but they willingly reject this truth. I find this extremely insulting, extremely absurd. Nobody does that. I know myself. I don't do that.
SubhanAllah. So again, let me clarify. I literally said in my title, some people choose evil. Ridvan, why do you find this to be insulting? If the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it. If you and any of the people in the comments, any of your followers, you're sure that you don't really believe that Islam is true and you're choosing evil, then why are you responding to my video as if I'm talking about you? The reality of this situation is, Allah alone knows what's in people's hearts, whether or not they really believe in Islam, whether or not the true message of Islam has been conveyed to them and they chose to reject it. Only Allah knows the reality of these things. I don't claim to know what's in your heart or any of your subscribers' hearts. But for you to claim that nobody chooses evil, this is simply not true. People admit this. For example, there are people who eventually embraced Islam, but they've said that when they first started learning about Islam, they knew it was the truth. They believed in it, but there was a period of time where they decided, due to their desires, that they were not going to be Muslim. They did not want to follow Islam. They wanted to fulfill their desires and enjoy the life of this world. But eventually, they did embrace Islam. This is something that people experience. Maybe you don't know anyone who's experienced it, but I'm just telling you that people admit this themselves.
And from how I see humanity, it is a ridiculously unrealistic and absurd assertion that people know that Islam is true, but they reject it willingly.
I would agree that it's a very bad decision to make, to choose the life of this world over the eternal hereafter. But can we both admit that people make absurd decisions all the time? Can't we both acknowledge that people constantly, even perhaps yourself, I know myself, I've done the wrong thing, knowing that it's wrong. There are so many different examples that I can bring forth. I could sit here for the next hour listing examples. And so much of this topic is really related to the desire of human beings, of us letting our desires get the best of us. So let me share some examples. There are people who will fornicate with somebody who they know has an STD. They know that they will fornicate with this person and they will contract the STD, and that STD will be something that they suffer from for the rest of their life. But because in that moment their desires are so strong, they decide to fulfill that desire at the expense of the consequence. There are people today who knowingly decide to smoke crack, to shoot heroin for the first time. They reach a certain fork in the road. They're presented an opportunity. You can smoke this crack, and in this moment, you might feel an incredible high. You might enjoy yourself. You might escape whatever you're suffering from in this moment. However, we all know, especially in America, we know how crack completely ruins lives. Yet people find themselves at that fork, and instead of saying, you know what, I'm just going to overcome my desire right now to smoke crack, and I'm going to not do that, and then I will benefit from that decision, there are people who still decide to smoke crack. There are people who still decide to shoot heroin. Why? Because they have a strong desire in that moment. I can go on and on. There are people in school, for example. We're told throughout school, you need to get good grades, you need to behave yourself, you need to learn so that in the future, you have a bright future, you can get a good job, a good career. Yet there are people who say, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy these years. I'm going to get in trouble, I'm going to cut class, I'm going to party, I'm not going to do my homework. And what happens later on? They suffer as a result. But they made that decision based on their desires. So yeah, you might find it absurd, but if somebody is also going to admit that they want to worship Satan, that they want to reject Islam knowing that it's true for their desires regarding the life of this world, then you know what? Just like you want people to take your word for whatever you're saying, you're pleading in this video how genuinely sincere you are. Well, I think we can also give other people the benefit of the doubt if they want to admit and say that they knew Islam was the truth, but they decided to reject it.
Let me tell you something. I am extremely sure, completely confident that Islam is not true. I might be more sure about the falsity of Islam than you are about the idea that Islam is the truth.
All right, Ridvan, hopefully this helps you sleep at night. I believe that you don't think Islam is true, okay? But there is something else that I want to address, because people like yourself and those who also have maybe watched my Journey to Islam video, they're under the impression that I just read the Quran in English and then I became Muslim, and that's all there is to me being a Muslim or my da'wah. And the reason I want to delve into this is because you bring up this idea that you might be more sure that Islam is false than I am that it's true. Well, to be honest, I could be a million times more sure that Islam is the truth than you are that it's false, but would that change anything really? But just so you understand who I am, let me tell you a few things, okay? I initially, yes, embraced Islam back in 2008, 13 years ago, and this conversion began when I read the Quran. However, since then, I have been living the life of a Muslim. Islam is something that you actually live. It's something that you do. You submit to Allah. You perform certain actions. You say certain things, as well as believe in your heart. So since becoming Muslim, I became a practicing Muslim. I went and I lived in Medina, in the city of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I studied Islam. I studied Arabic for almost 9 years. And when I was there, I was especially practicing Islam because I was in an Islamic society. And when we're talking about belief, in Islam, as I said, belief, it's also something that you do. And as you are doing it, you're performing it, you're living it, you're learning about it, your iman, your belief in it rises and it goes up. Just like somebody's disbelief can get stronger if they are constantly and repeatedly disobeying Allah. So you know what's possible, and I don't know this, Allah will judge you accordingly. I don't know if this is true or not, but just think for a second. Perhaps you were at a fork in the road in your life at some point, and you had a decision to make, whether you were going to believe in Islam, believe in Allah and worship Him, or if you were going to disbelieve. And perhaps you chose to disbelieve. Maybe not. Okay, this is between you and Allah. But just think about this. Perhaps you chose at some point in your life, in your past, to disbelieve. And now so many years have gone by. You've made a career out of being the apostate prophet, of talking about Islam and disrespecting Allah and Muslims. There's no doubt in my mind, actually, that if you say you genuinely disbelieve, okay, I'll take your word for it. I'd imagine after all of these years of the path that you've been going down, that yeah, you genuinely disbelieve. Your heart is probably so hard towards Islam that, there's no doubt in your mind. But let me tell you the difference between you and me. Although you come from a Muslim background, I don't know that you ever practiced Islam to the extent that I have. I don't know that you've ever learned about Islam, true Sunni Orthodox Islam, to the extent that I have. But I've been a disbeliever like you. I know what it's like to look at Islam as if it's backwards. But you don't know what it's like to truly submit to Allah, to seek knowledge, to live in an Islamic environment, to follow the Quran and Sunnah. You don't know what that's like. So that's just something to think about next time you want to consider whose faith might be stronger.
You say that Islam's message is very clear. Those who will go to heaven are those who obey Muhammad, because that's what Muhammad said. Just because your book says that I'm simply doing this because I choose to do this, that doesn't make it true.
This is another silly argument because my video was clearly for a Muslim audience. You see, Muslims, we already believe foundationally that the Quran and authentic Sunnah are divine revelation. We've already agreed on that. So if I say that something's in the Quran or the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said something, he taught something, then we already have a foundational belief and acceptance that this is the ultimate truth. You are an atheist. So I wasn't trying to address you in the video. But let's pretend I was trying to address you in the video. What foundation is there for an atheist? What sort of ultimate truth can we agree upon? Muslims, we believe in the Quran and Sunnah. Even many of your Christian followers, because for some reason, a lot of Christians seem to follow an atheist like yourself just because you guys hate Islam so much. But even those Christians, they can refer to the Bible. What do you have to offer as an atheist? You don't offer anything except bashing Islam.
And you know what? I even believe you. I think that you are doing what you are doing because you believe that it is the right thing to do. I completely believe you. I don't think that you want to preach evil. The thing is, I myself am not evil either. I don't choose evil.
So here's the thing, Ridwan. How can you say that you're not evil? How can you try to claim that Islam is bad or that what you're doing is good? Again, you have no foundation to stand on. I know this is like probably something you're used to hearing when it comes to you being an atheist and you jumping into this arena of trying to discuss morality and right and wrong, good and evil. But it's because it's just such a basic foundational fact that you have nothing to stand on. How do you determine what's right and wrong, what's good and evil? You haven't made a name for yourself because you are sharing some sort of beneficial ideology with people, because you have some sort of worldview that you have convinced people of that talks about good and bad and the life of this world. And you've made a name for yourself bashing Islam. The reality is you might not believe in Islam. However, you should be able to understand that I have a foundation regarding my worldview, that I believe that it makes sense that all of this exists. I didn't create it. I didn't create myself. Something must have created it. Something must have brought this world and myself into existence. And when I reflect on existence, this creator must have the most perfect names and attributes. Then I sincerely search to see if this creator communicated with the creation. And I find that this Quran, it must be from that creator. That the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam must be a prophet that the creator communicated with. I actually have a worldview. You, on the other hand, your whole life, your whole purpose in life is trying to criticize my belief as a Muslim. Whereas you have nothing to stand on yourself. You have no true worldview yourself.
I'm pretty sure that you even believe that I am evil. I am contrary to your religion, to your worldview, which is why I should be punished in an ideal world. Something that I don't believe about you.
All right, please, Ridvan, please give it a rest. It's like you cannot play this victim card enough. Oh, I'm an apostate and Muslims want me killed. Muslims don't care about you being killed. It is not our job to worry about such things. If you really want to understand genuinely, sincerely, what Islam says regarding someone like yourself, this is what you have to do. You need to talk to an actual scholar of Islam. Okay, not people like myself and other YouTubers that you go back and forth with who yell and back and whatever. No, you would need to talk to an actual scholar who would need to look at your specific situation, who you are, where you live, where you come from, the whole situation, and then you would need to get an actual verdict from a legit, again, Muslim scholar who's qualified to do so. Your average Muslim YouTuber is not qualified to pass such a verdict regarding you. It's not something we think about. And if somebody does think about it and somebody does want to pass a fatwa, I guarantee whoever you've talked to, they're not qualified to do so. So please, just give it a rest. So I think this video has gone on long enough. There's a lot more I could say, but in closing, I just want to mention that human beings have a choice, and at the end of the day, Allah is going to judge all of us. Only Allah knows the unseen. Only Allah truly knows where everyone is going to be in the hereafter, and what the results of their life will be, and how each and every one of us will be dealt with on the day of judgment. So with that said, may Allah guide all of us. Thank you for watching. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.